will remain unresolved. Overpopulation. Humanity's greed and lust. Environmental degradation. Climatic deterioration. Loss and waste of resources. Less stable ecological environments. Refugee problems, they will continue to increase. Conflicts between nationalities, religions, cultures, and interest groups. These problems above can only be solved by changing our traditional production and life modes. Everyone yearns for a good life, but how can it be obtained? It will not be by preaching morality, enforcing laws and regulations, following religious precepts, redistributing money and material assistance, constant meetings and discussions of governments or even the UN, warnings and threats, or even by force. It is only by changing our production and life modes that these crises can be solved. What kind of production and life modes should be changed? First of all, we should break up traditional marriages and families because they are the sources of human selfishness, the birthplaces of human crises, and the headstreams of all crime and evil. They are also the curb chains which prevent us all from leading happy, joyous, free, and blessed lives, but rather make people feel anxious, miserable, and fearful. Our mode of production should change from a pattern of possessing to one of sharing, from one of competing predatorily to one of serving each other enthusiastically. The rest of the contents involved are too broad to discuss here, but I can offer much more information based on my experience, if the UN is interested. How do we change nearly everyone's traditional production and life modes? To implement the production and life mode of the second home created by Lifechanyuan. We have been experimenting with and improving upon this mode in mainland China for 9 years, and the results have been very encouraging. More than 200 people have participated in our experiment over the past 10 years, and 150 of them have resided within the second home for extended periods of time. The remarkable signs of this mode are that exclusive marriages and families have disappeared, supporting our elderly and rearing and educating our children have been managed well. The crime rate has dropped to zero, our members' health has improved greatly, pollution to our local environment has dropped to near zero, and our waste of resources and carbon footprint have been reduced greatly. Our people's happiness indices have risen higher than those in any of the developed countries in the world. There are many more advantages over the traditional production and life modes which are difficult to describe here in detail, but of which we have published many written descriptions, photographic proofs, and video displays, and we want the UN to understand them in detail. We can provide a great deal of information as evidence to study and judge. If people do not change their traditional production and life modes completely and adopt those of the second home as created by Lifechanyuan, then the prospect of sustained development will remain distant and uncertain. At this juncture between our continuation as a species and our extinction, we are hopeful that the UN will send people to study and demonstrate it as soon as possible and make it a project to be put into practice as has been done by Lifechanyuan. To bring about the new models of production and life modes sooner rather than later, let people from all over the world visit, study, and experience it. In this way, humanity's situation can change completely and our futures will be blessed and sustainable. It is impossible to change humanity's dangerous predicament at once, and even if the brakes were applied immediately, the inertia of traditional thinking would last for decades, by which time it would be too late. So, the best way to do this would be to build new models of production and life modes which are intuitive, that people can see and experience in person, and that can be copied and replicated everywhere. If the second home mode were to be repeated by millions of people, then the beautiful ideal that mankind has dreamed of for thousands of years would surely be realized. How do we build a model of this new production and life mode? We would establish a second home in mainland China, in the United States of America, or in Zimbabwe, Africa, with 300 resident members including people from various religious, cultural, national, and ethnic backgrounds under the auspices of the United Nations and implemented by Lifechanyuan. We encourage the United Nations to persuade one or more of those 3 governments to agree to allow us to create a second home on their territory, and also to allow the foreign people involved in its creation to enter and leave freely. The place where the second home would be created would be chosen and financed by Lifechanyuan and purchased or leased according to existing local policies. Of course, it would help if the UN could help with the funding, because if you were to do so, then it would be quicker and easier to build and the new model could unfold more quickly. It would be effortless for the UN to help us to create this model of the new production and life modes. But the benefits would be endless and would benefit many future generations, so why not put it into practice? It is better to teach people to catch fish than to give them some fish. If the UN turns a blind eye to my proposal and ignores it, then you will have to deal with many types of devastation everywhere for many years to come. We look forward to positive, encouraging news from your organization. CFA. Lifechanyuan. November 25, 2018. A call for global ecological communities to unite as one international family. CFA. Humanity is facing an unprecedented crisis. Financial crises, ecological crises caused by climate change, wars triggered by regional conflicts, and more have already shown us that if humanity does not change its current modes of production and lifestyles, and continues along the traditional path, the Earth's ecology will be completely destroyed. Humanity's sustainable development will become an illusion, and even the future of humankind itself will be at stake. Only when every single member of humanity recognizes this great crisis and takes active steps can there be hope of overcoming it. Under a toppled nest, no egg can remain intact. Any mentality of luck, waiting, or hesitation will cause us to miss the opportunity, leaving behind eternal regret. To eliminate this crisis, the United Nations is making efforts, governments are making efforts, and related organizations, groups, and individuals around the world are also making efforts. But this is not enough. Only when every person on Earth makes an effort can the results be effective. The construction and development of ecological communities is one of the effective measures to overcome the crisis. However, at present, global ecological communities are scattered like stars in the sky, without forming a climate of influence. Their scale and pace of development are far from sufficient to form the powerful force needed to curb climate change. For the rapid development of ecological communities, I call upon ecological communities worldwide to unite as one international family, to pool collective wisdom and energy to promote their global development. When humanity is facing a common crisis, all people should place the interests of all humankind above those of nations, political parties, ethnic groups, religions, organizations, or individuals. Global ecological communities should also set aside their small, local interests and unite into one international family. Only by considering development from the standpoint of humanity as a whole can all of humanity benefit, and at the same time, each small community will also achieve comprehensive, healthy, and rapid growth. At present, Lifechanyuan's second home in China and the Konohana family in Japan have already joined together to form an international family. This is a gratifying step, proving that ecological communities worldwide can indeed transcend differences of race, culture, and lifestyle to unite as one international family. As long as we carry love in our hearts, love for humanity, for peace, for the earth, and for life, we absolutely have the wisdom and ability to overcome every obstacle and hardship on our path forward, and to build a global ecological community as one international family, sharing weal and woe and weathering storms together, thereby opening up for humanity a new era of sustainable development, peace, harmony, and coexistence. This international family can operate within the framework of the United Nations, and I believe the UN would be glad to see a global ecological community family carrying out work beneficial to all humankind under its guidance. Uniting global ecological communities into one international family will bring countless benefits and no harm. Everyone, including every member of each community, will gain immeasurable benefit. As for how to build it, how to operate it, and how to overcome differences in belief, culture, and lifestyle among communities, I have a complete set of theories sufficient to realize this great ideal. The most critical issue now is this: either we achieve this great union to face humanity's crisis together, break free from it, and create a brand new era, or we sit and wait for death. Let us first fulfill, in spirit and in heart, the great vision of uniting global ecological communities into one international family, and then allow each community to elect representatives to discuss the details of its establishment. The best approach would be for GEN, the Global Eco-Village Network, to take the lead in initiating this project. Great disasters may occur at any time. We do not know whether we will still be alive tomorrow. But as long as there is even a glimmer of hope, we must never give up our efforts. Decades are too long, we must seize the day. I hope global ecological communities will reflect on my call and work in the most effective and efficient way to promote the movement to build one international family of ecological communities, completing this task in the shortest time possible. Greetings and blessings to all brothers and sisters of the global ecological community. Guide of Lifechanyuan, CFA. November 24, 2013. Invitation and welcome to global utopian communities to form an alliance with Lifechanyuan's second home. CFA. We all share a common ideal, to build the earth into a paradise where the kind, the diligent, the honest, the simple, and the trustworthy can live, where generation after generation of humanity may fully enjoy lives of joy, happiness, freedom, and peace. To realize such a beautiful vision, the efforts of only a few thousand or even tens of thousands of people will not be enough. Only when all selfless people worldwide, who strive toward this noble goal, unite and work together can it be achieved. 2 years ago, we began building the second home. In the 2 years since, practice has fully proven that the second home possesses great vitality. The basic ideals have already been realized, and as the second home continues to improve and be perfected, its lifestyle model will become the most ideal way of life for humankind. The new life model of the second home has 8 major characteristics. No one worries about food, clothing, housing, transportation, birth, aging, sickness, or death. Everyone has work to do, a place to live, clothes to wear, and food to eat. No one needs to toil or worry for their parents or children. People no longer owe debts to one another. Everyone owns nothing yet possesses everything. There is no marriage, no private family unit, and no private property. No one picks up what is lost, and doors are left unlocked at night. There is virtually no crime. The Handan management model is practiced. There are no leaders and no followers, no managers and no managed. Each contributes according to ability and takes according to need, following the principle of neither extravagance nor waste. The environment is clean, orderly, and elegant. People's spirits are renewed. Humans live in harmony with one another and with nature, each enhancing the other. There is not a single lazy person, nor a single parasite-like person. Everyone's qualities of truth, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity are given full expression, and everything enters a virtuous cycle. We sincerely hope that utopian, communal style, and idyllic communities across the world, regardless of nation or region, race or ethnicity, faith or culture, will contact us and form an alliance. Together, we can co-create the most ideal way of life for humankind. The proposed forms of alliance are as follows. Exchange information, share experiences, learn from one another, and complement each other's strengths. Exchange members. At the beginning, you may send 2 to 3 people to live in the second home, and the second home will send 2 to 3 people to live in your community. Share and promote successful practices for communities around the world to learn from and adopt. No conferences. Everything will be exchanged openly on the internet. No debates, no arguments, no coercion. Everything shall be based on individual choice and free will. No interference. Each community preserves its own uniqueness. There will be no unified regulations, but a "let 100 flowers bloom" approach. No discussion of religion or beliefs. Everything shall be guided by the principles of enabling everyone to live joyfully, freely, happily, and harmoniously, in peace with one another, with groups, and with nature. No interference with or attacks against secular society, including secular governments, political parties, religions, the wealthy, or any secular organization or group. Life is a game, let us play it in the most joyful way. There is no need to cling to anything. Since everyone must face death in the end, let us instead love life, love living, and love existence to the fullest, making our time on earth rich with joy, meaning, and value. We warmly welcome communities around the world to get in touch with us. With sincere blessings and greetings. July 24, 2011. Help me build a paradise on earth. CFing. Greetings, awakened soul. I am a guide of Lifechanyuan, coming from the 1,000-year world of the kingdom of heaven. I know how to build a paradise on earth. For the past 20 years, I build a paradise on earth.